Hello, this is Blue Joe Saunders, WBO middleweight champion of the world. Subscribe to Sporting Icons to stay in touch with all the top news. God bless you all.
Now, of course, quite a few of you guys have been mentioning to me on social media, namely Twitter or Instagram, that there appears to be some kind of conflict between the WBO, the sanctioning body, and the Premier Boxing Champions, i.e. the PBC and Al Haymon. And I didn't put too much thought into it, really. I did notice a couple of things beforehand, but now I really look into it, I'm starting to see there could well be some validity to it. Now, there are articles flying around, and I'll put one of the articles in the description box to go have a read for yourself. But it appears that there is some kind of conflict between Al Haymon, the PBC, and the WBO. Most namely, when Manny Pacquiao fought Keith Thurman on Fox Sports, there was 2 occasions on that show where it appeared that they're shunning or boycotting the WBO. As in, when they put up like this billboard of welterweight world champions, they deliberately left off Terence Crawford, the WBO welterweight world champion. Looking at it, I thought, right, okay, they're just being a little bit sarcastic. They're having like a bit of a dig at Bob Arum and Terence Crawford, etc. Okay, it is what it is. But when Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz Jr. were sat next to each other, they introduced Andy Ruiz as the IBF and WBA World Heavyweight Champion, not WBO. They left that part off. And I would imagine if you're Andy Ruiz Jr., you're going to be a little bit upset because he felt that when he fought Joseph Parker for that vacant WBO world title, that he won that fight but didn't get the decision. So when he fought Anthony Joshua, that's the one belt he really wanted, because he's been walking around feeling that he's an uncrowned WBO World Heavyweight Champion. So when he got those belts from Anthony Joshua, that's the one that he really wanted. So when they deliberately left off WBO, I'd imagine Andy Ruiz not feeling too hot about that. So that's 2 occasions that they definitely did shun the WBO. But again, there's probably 2 points that will probably make me go, yeah, I can kind of see why that they are boycotting the WBO. And the first one would be that WBO appear from the outside, at least looking in, that they favour Frank Warren and Bob Arum fighters. I've been saying it for a long time. I'm not saying that they do, I'm saying that it appears to it, because when you go up and down the ranking list of the WBO, especially in the top 15, they're filled full of Bob Arum, top rank, and Frank Warren, Queensberry fighters. So maybe that's why the PBC and Al Haymon's done that, because they don't agree with what the WBO do. Potentially, at least, anyway. But the other one is when you look down the WBO rankings, again, through all the weight divisions, starting at heavyweight, obviously you've got Andy Ruiz Jr., who's a heavyweight champion for WBO, and they just shunned it. They really did. But you've got to go all the way down. You've got to skip the rest of the heavyweight, cruiserweight, light heavyweight, and go to super middleweight before you actually find a PBC fighter in Willie Monroe Jr. But even going lower down, there isn't too many fighters ranked in the WBO, and maybe this is one of the reasons why as well. But if that's the reason why the PBC are shunning the WBO, it's a little bit two-faced, it's a little bit hypocritical. Again, from the outside looking in, it appears that the WBC favour PBC fighters, Al Haymon fighters. Again, I mean, here's a slight example here. So we'll start off at heavyweight. If anybody wants to go see the rankings, feel free. I'll go off the top of my head. Obviously, I don't know all the PBC fighters, of course not. But if you go over to like a Fight News, for example, you'll see the top 15 for WBC, WBO, WBA, and IBF. And start off at heavyweight, you've got in the top 15, obviously Wilder, the champion. Then you go down to number 4, Luis Ortiz. Number 6, Adam Kaunaki. Then number 13, Dominic Brazil. Kind of number 14 in Joe Joyce. He's kind of, is he 100% Frank Warren, or is he also Al Haymon, because he did sign some kind of deal with Al Haymon as well. Either way, that's quite a few fighters for the top 15 of the WBC. When you look down at cruiserweight, I'm not too hot on cruiserweights, but I believe Andrew Tabiti, isn't he a PBC fighter? If he's not, I definitely know that he does train at the Floyd Mayweather gym, so that's why I'm thinking of it. You go to light heavyweight, I believe Marcus Brown is a PBC fighter. I could be wrong on that one. Badu Jack certainly is. Then we go down to super middleweight. Anthony Durrell, he's a PBC fighter, I believe. Chris Eubank Jr. certainly is. Caleb Truax certainly is. Peter Quillin is as well, I believe. And I can never say his name. Jose Uzagatagui. He's a PBC fighter as well. Go down to middleweight. They installed Jamal Charlo as WBC middleweight world champion without having to defeat anybody, really. They just installed him as champion and made Canelo franchise champion. So again, a PBC fighter has been given a favour, you could say. Again, when you look down the list, I don't know if Devrichenko is a PBC fighter. I'm not too sure, to be honest. See who else is... Matt Korobov, isn't he PBC? Hugo Centeno Jr., isn't he PBC? If they're not, they've definitely fought on PBC shows, that's for sure. Go down to 154, super welterweight, Tony Harrison, PBC. Jamel Charlo, PBC. Erickson Lubin, I believe, is as well. If not, he definitely has fought on a PBC show. You've also got Jarrett Hurd. He's a PBC fighter. Austin Trout is a PBC fighter. Go down to welterweight as well. Again, all of these top 15. Sean Porter, obviously the champion, is a PBC fighter. Danny Garcia is a PBC fighter. Sergey Lipinets. Ugas. Andre Berto. Don't know about Jamal James. I don't know where he is, or Omar Figueroa. Either way, there's still quite a few PBC fighters. Go down to super lightweight. Regis Prograis, is he? I don't know if he is, actually. I don't know. Either way, you kind of get my point. Where we go through many of the divisions in the WBC, and there's a lot of PBC fighters. So again, from the outside looking in, you have to say that there appears to be some kind of favouritism for PBC fighters, much like there's favouritism for Bob Arum and Frank Warren fighters on WBO. But the whole point is that it's a little bit petty, but I understand the point from a certain point of view. But you're being hypocritical, PBC. If you're going to boycott WBO, you still need it to become undisputed. So none of your guys can be undisputed. You can have Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter, go fight Manny Pacquiao and blah, blah, blah. So one guy has all those belts, but they're still not undisputed because they don't have the WBO. You could probably bill it as undisputed, but in reality, they're not. So all the PBC fighters who always talk about all we want is one face and one name and one champion throughout all the divisions, as much as you may agree with the reasons why the PBC are doing it, ultimately they're going to block the undisputed, aren't they? If this is going to be their narrative going forward. As I said, I don't blame them for doing it particularly, but should all the other promotional companies boycott WBC because they favour PBC? I don't know. But it does seem pretty petty from one point of view. But either way, as I said, there's an article in the description where Mike Coppinger, he alludes to this fact and that as well. But, I mean, I'm not mad on it, not at all. It just seems that they seem to think that they run boxing. They don't run boxing. They really don't. I mean, do they get favours with WBA and IBF? Not really. And to be honest, I don't think WBA or IBF really favour anybody, really. They don't favour Eddie Hearn fighters. They don't favour Frank Warren or Bob Arum or PBC or anything like that. They just go across the board. Are their rankings great? No, not really. But I think ultimately, I mean, when you look at all the champions for WBO, it's only Andy Ruiz Jr. who's a PBC fighter, or at least to my knowledge. Anyway, but I said I don't know about Jamal Herring. I don't know if he is. But either way, that appears to be what's going on. That Al Haymon and the PBC are boycotting or shunning the WBO. Now, ultimately, if they ever want to create undisputed, as of right now, they need WBO. But the way to get rid of WBO is for the fans to boycott WBO as well. If all the fans boycott WBO, then obviously that will become obsolete. Much like at one time, you needed the IBO. It was a well-recognised world title, but nowadays, not so much. So maybe that will be it. But if they start going with that narrative, then boxing fans may turn and try boycotting the WBC because of a lot of the decisions that these guys make in favour of PBC fighters, freezing out other fighters. Maybe not, I don't want to say intentionally, but it appears from the outside that they favour PBC, and fans have been noticing this. So is it two-faced? Yeah, it is two-faced. Is it understandable why they boycott WBO? Certainly. But anyway, but again, you have to ask the reason why. Why do the WBO favour Bob Arum and not PBC? Why do the WBC favour PBC and not Bob Arum? We could kind of go against it in some ways because they did allow Vasyl Lomachenko to fight for the vacant WBC title against Luke Campbell. So, who knows? Anyway, that appears to be what's going on, at least, that the PBC, Al Haymon, is boycotting or shunning the WBO. You drop your thoughts below about it, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all on the next one.